Welcome to Happily Ever Aftermath.
The podcast where we discuss relationships in movies and our relationships with them.
I'm Polina Grunbaum.
And I'm Diana Rojek-Sconard. Hey, thanks for coming back here. This is part 2 of my Big Fat Greek Wedding because we did not have enough discipline to fit it all into part 1.
True.
Yeah, okay.
There's just so much here. It's a very big fat episode.
Oh wow.
Sorry, it had to be done.
I have a lot to undo. So
yeah.
So this is part 2. Go back to part 1 if you care, and let's keep going. So we're at, if I remember,
we're at the proposal.
The
right?
proposal.
That's what we
How
talked
about this?
about
That's
last.
the last thing I remember because we were hopping everywhere.
Yeah.
So it is.
I had a lot of sugar.
It is official that Tula has accepted the marriage proposal from Ian, and sure enough, that's not enough. It's family explosion time.
Mm-hmm.
It's this guy, he didn't come. This is the father talking.
How do we know if he's a nice guy? It's like, well,
you can ask him.
You can ask him.
Well, no, that's I understand.
I get that part.
I think there's a real anxiety there, but it's got a layer of he's not Greek. I don't know who this person is, but the generic realm of a parents, I don't know who this person is, but the adult version of that is you get to know them. And so you go
that's
from there.
Exactly
so
it.
way to go, Gus. I mean, Gus I have issues with Gus, and that's the point. So good job. Mm-hmm. You have completed what you have set out to do.
Michael Constantine.
Yeah, no, fantastic performance.
Really good.
Really
Because you don't want to hit him nearly as much as you probably should want to hit him.
No, you're Tula. You kind of just turn your head, Dad. And that's just it, though, is that I think the same thing about him. Oh, come on, Dad. You know,
I'm looking at other movies because he's one of those guys who's in like everything.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So
yeah. So it's the preparations have begun, but here's something that really hit me because it's the wedding plans have started. It's overwhelming. Her mother's ordering invitations without her saying. They're going over the guest list of we have to invite this family member. Mm-hmm. We have to invite this family member. I don't know who they are. Well, what do you care? They're related to me. Why is this such a big deal? Mm-hmm. She tearfully goes to Ian's class in the middle of the day and says, let's just run away.
Yeah.
Because she's completely overwhelmed by this is too much and you can't get married in the church and I just want to run away. And at the time, young me is watching Ian Miller saying, mm-hmm. I will do whatever it takes because you're my life now. And this is your family and you are part of your family. And this is just how it is. So I will do this for you. And
that was very sweet.
It was incredibly sweet. And at the time, it's just, I want that so much for myself in this new relationship that I have. But at the same time, sitting years later with my husband, we're watching this movie together. It was really nice. He sat down and watched it with me. I watched it twice for the episode, and I look at him and he looks at me at that particular instance, and I'm just, that I wanted that so much. I wanted to get married in the church, and I wanted you to do that, and it didn't happen that way, John Corbett, he got baptized. He got the cousin as his sister, he has to tell his best man, oh, sorry, man, in the Greek Orthodox Church, my best man has to be baptized in the Greek Orthodox Church, and you can't. But you would have been my best man. He's just making all of these concessions. And I look and I go, back then, I'm like, I wanted that. But, I didn't get that when Ryan and I got married. Mm-hmm. And I said to him, thank you so much for not giving me that, because that's something where it's just that is beautiful, but that is the one-sided dream. In this movie, so much of it is realistic, but this is the ridiculous grand gesture, and that grand gesture is amazing.
It's really amazing because especially in front of everyone in that like kiddie pool. So he actually gets baptized in this like blow up kiddie pool. Uh-huh. People convert, like they probably would not. People convert as adults, especially to Orthodox. It's like it's actually a pretty fast growing church.
Mm-hmm. But just watching him go through the whole thing, it's like I said in the last episode, they're very interestingly tricky with the timeline because it is moving at a normal like. You see her sister is pregnant during this whole thing. She's got 3 kids, and then she's pregnant again, and then by the time the wedding rolls around, she has the baby.
Yep.
And so you're knowing real time is progressing. There's these subtle hints that time, it isn't just boom, they got married, boom, they started dating, 2 days later they're engaged, 3 days later they're having a big wedding.
Yeah.
There's a real progression. Like when she's going through
a
school,
normal time. It's
normal is all relative.
But I mean, like, it's a realistic
this is
time that somebody would have an engagement.
This is not the romantic comedy of it's spring break and this happens over the weekend.
Yeah.
This is a period of time, but they're, truncating it in a way that we can consume it. But if you look at the science, it's beautiful. And as much as that thing is that I will do anything for you, and I will, I didn't want that. I didn't want I will put up with your family for you. I'm like, no, I don't want you to put up with them. I want you to love them the way I love them.
Yeah.
And he does that too. So that's pretty amazing.
So that was, when you were, why are you glad that he didn't give that to you?
Because that's not, if he just kind of flopped and gave me everything I wanted, I would be running him down every day of the week more so than usual. I mean, he lets me get away with a lot of stuff, and that's not why I love him. I think I love him because he doesn't let me get away with some of the stuff that I do.
Aww.
He's listening right now.
He is. He's sitting right here, and he's blushing. It's really cute.
I love you. Just kidding. Okay, no, that's real. No. In all honesty, I did say him because I think he asked me, did you want me to do that? I'm like, no, because then you're not you. For the record, Catholic. I am Catholic. He is not Catholic.
Not Catholic. Oh yes, there are the Catholics, and there are only 2 kinds of people in the world:
Greeks.
I knew this. I always knew it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I needed to get real permission. Yeah. My husband is an atheist, and so.
But your family, where's like what? Are your family atheists too?
Not really.
Okay. But I mean, are they are they a denomination? We're now asking our producer, who's.
No, I was just raised sort of non-religiously.
Okay.
You were baptized though.
Yeah.
But we don't need to get into that.
Not like affirmatively atheist,
but like Episcopalian,
Lutheran.
For
the listener at home, my husband was baptized Lutheran. He's halfway off the mic, but I don't know how much this is capturing. He's a sweetheart. I love him. Now, go back to wherever you came from. So, yes, I love my husband. I had a moment. So watching it then, of course, I was just overwhelmed by the amazingness of just like, John Corbett is amazing. He is doing all of this stuff, and that's exactly what I want. I want to have my crazy Catholic wedding, and I want to have my crazy Catholic family, or it's just my family. I don't want to pin the Catholic on my family.
How did your family react then when you had that? Like,
I brought home John Corbett?
When you brought home John Corbett, especially after you'd introduced them to Ryan, and they're like, well.
I made it out to be a bigger thing in my head than, what a shock. A person making out to be something bigger than it actually is. Because
Diana, you may be the first.
I don't remember.
Ever.
I don't remember the big first. Oh, wait, no, it just came to me. I actually had to think about it. First thing, I believe, we've been together for over 16 years, and it's really starting to blur together. I want to say the first thing he ever came to was my uncle's birthday party. But
how many people were there?
I don't remember. I think he rented out a restaurant.
Oh,
but here's,
a lot.
But here's what's kind of weird, though. I might be confusing that with the first time we met my sister's now husband.
I know that, actually.
I am confusing it, but I think that is accurate because I think my sister brought her then boyfriend at the time to a Christmas dinner. And so I think Ryan had the big thing. I don't have a journal of this, and it's all really just kind of coming together.
Yeah, of course. But anyway, it was a large event. It wasn't...
I don't know. But there was the dad, this is Ryan, when he came to pick me up for a date. Mom, this is Ryan, came to pick me up for a date. I think the first time our parents met each other was at my college graduation party.
Oh, okay.
So it's, things where it makes sense. We didn't have a thing where this is this specific thing in which our parents
because you guys live next to each other, so it would make sense. Like for Sean and I, it'd be like my parents I had to drive to his parents' house.
Right.
And then my he met my father because my father would come here for business.
Right, but there was never a reason for our parents to be in the same room at the same time, except I think the first time that ever happened without us there is when we got engaged and they had to plan the wedding. And they decided to have a dinner together where they could get to know each other. I don't know. I wasn't there. It might have been Red Lobster. I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Cheesy bread.
Oh, that's some good bread right there. No more bread.
Yeah,
bread.
sorry. When we get together,
Yeah.
we have a lot of bread. And the usual place that we get the gigantic loaf of bread we eat is lost their supplier. So, but we've managed to make up for it.
We found bread. We're okay. I'm a little bit, bloated, whatever.
Bread, yeah, overbreaded.
Yeah. Okay. So, family, come together. There's John Corbett, his friend jokes that, they say jump and you get out your trampoline, but he's so smitten with her and it's just nice. So the wedding commences and then the interesting planning of everything coming together. It was a lot, and it was very reminiscent of thinking, what is it going to be when it's going to happen? And now that I've already had the wedding and everything like that, there were so many pinpoints that just nail on the head. I have an idea for this. I have an idea for this. Oh, that's great. I'll think about it. For some reason, something's been ordered, and I don't understand why.
Oh, really?
No. That's the movie.
Yes,
and because I was so paranoid about that, I took so much into my own
Oh,
hands.
yeah. I was really paranoid about that, too, even though my mother wouldn't have done anything without consulting me. But
right.
I was like, no, everything.
But I'm
everything.
I'm also a control freak, and I'm also a tightwad. So when it came down to, I think I focused on the invitations way so much that I'm just like, no, I'm doing this myself. And
oh God, that was a big mistake for me too. That was like took too long. I'm like, ugh, because I did the thing with the assembly and the ugh.
I remember how much everyone talked about the font on my invitations. And
I bought a font.
No, I was actually making a joke. People don't give a crap.
No, but that's what I mean.
But that's how much I fixated on
I
it.
bought a font, mostly because my friend designed it, and I'm like, fine, if you want this font, you can get it. But I literally paid money for a font. And of course, nobody noticed it.
That makes me feel bad about my joke now because I used coupons for my invitation. That's how much I didn't care.
I mean, I did it like from paper source, so it was pretty basic.
Vistaprint. Coupon code. We don't have a coupon code. I'm sorry. Go Google a coupon code.
Sorry.
Invitations. Yeah. So no.
Paper Source brought to you by.
Yeah. So
mention HEAMCast for absolutely nothing.
Actually, mention HEAMCast because we would love it if you'd spread the word.
Yeah.
We are on Twitter at HEAMCast. We're on Facebook at Happily Ever Aftermath, and you can send us money at contact@HEAMCast. No, I don't know.
Just your bank account information
Like us
and
on,
your
like us
is
on
fine.
Facebook.
That's fine.
No. Okay. No, Polina wants something. I'm not going to argue with her.
It's HEAMCAST.
That's on Twitter.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And then Facebook.
Spread the word. Okay.
Okay, back to we're kind of new to this self-promotion thing.
The word is whoring, Polina. We're not good at whoring ourselves out.
I was trying to make myself feel better with the self-promotion thing, but thanks. Okay. It's okay. No, I'm comfortable with myself and what I do.
Send all your complaints to HEAMCast.
To We Don't Care at HEAMCast. We will only...
Okay,
I'll only read you at 2 a.m. when I'm feeling bad about myself.
So John Corbett... No, just all the plans, all the preparations, it's really stressful. And I had a serious flashback because she wakes up the day of the wedding and there's a huge zit on her face. And
I can't believe I avoided that. Was like, I can't believe I knew it would happen.
I had a huge zit on my face when the day I got married.
Oh my God.
Huge. And I don't wear makeup, so this was really difficult. And so it came up. And this is one of those things that, I am so angry at the movies because we don't understand that they, in the movie, the cousins and the mothers and the aunts just kind of, converge on her like pigeons that had a bagel drop. And they just put all of this stuff on her and they paint and like, oh my God, she's got a zit, and they cover it up and she has all of this on her face. And it was even sweeter is at the end of the wedding they wipe it.
And then she just has a perfect amount of makeup on.
Well,
I mean, what's she gonna do?
I don't know how it works, Polina, so I'm not gonna pretend.
It doesn't work that way.
Okay.
She would look like a clown.
But the whole point is, and the thing is, she said, oh my God, I look like a thing. No, she looked very pretty.
She did.
So, you know,
I mean, overmade up for her, but yes.
Yeah, exactly. She was overmade up for her. But see, that made me believe that anytime you put makeup on, you look amazing. So the fact that I could see a zit, even though I was wearing makeup the day of my wedding, I'm so pissed because that's not what I was taught from the movies. Why do I see this zit? This zit is supposed to not be there.
Because it's not like it's caused by stress or anything.
I don't know how science works.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
Okay.
Diana.
I'm sorry.
Do not lie. Do not lie to our audience.
I lie all the time.
That's true.
Didn't they hear me just gushing about my husband?
Yeah.
He's even more amazing than that. I'm actually taking it down a notch.
You are. I've actually worked with Ryan, and to be fair, he is pretty amazing.
I like him. Okay, that's enough of that crap.
Yeah.
So the wedding, it takes place, and in the ceremony, it's like I mentioned this before. I'll mention it again. I love the fact that there are so few people on the groom's side, so many people on the bride's side. We counted; there were 10 bridesmaids, which means
which made me think, why can't he just have one friend as the groomsman?
Because I think I don't know exactly what it is. Like, what do you mean? Like, well, the best man has to be.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I think it's because he didn't have enough. I don't know. Like, maybe you have to be Greek Orthodox to be on the altar.
To be on the actual altar. That makes sense.
To participate like that. But no.
I also love that he had no idea what was going on. Like, I'm like, you would have gone through this service before, at least kind of.
Well, I don't know. Wait, he would have gone through the service?
Yeah, like he would have like known what all the steps are. I mean, they do a rehearsal.
Yeah.
You don't do a Russian Orthodox wedding a Greek Orthodox wedding. It's pretty extravaganza like without something, because you just be like, I'm still going around in a circle.
Yeah, well, and that was really pretty.
That was beautiful.
One of those things where a different culture comes into play, and then you watch it, and then you just kind of step back and pay attention. It can be very.
Do you feel like I have to? I went to a lot of weddings before I got married, because I got married in my 30s. And I was in through the bridesmaid in a bunch of weddings too. Okay. And which I think I mentioned before now that I think about it.
Maybe.
And which, feel honored. But it's a thing. And I used to just be really bored at weddings. And then I got married and I had a wedding. And now and Sean does the same thing. Like before we'd be like fast forwarding through the wedding scene. Now we're like, let's just enjoy
Enjoy the wedding scenes?
Enjoy the weddings.
Oh.
And just in general, they're like, somebody at the last wedding I went to, actually, this woman said, yeah, I've heard that weddings are therapy for married people.
Really?
Yeah. Because I think it's like, oh, we used to feel that way.
See, that's not really, I feel kind of bad about this.
You can just...
No, anytime I hear or think about another person's wedding, I take a look, like, ours was better.
There was a woman at my wedding, who kept walking up to me at my wedding. It's really bugs Sean. It is our wedding, but he's not here, so it's my wedding.
Your wedding.
So
my Catholic wedding.
Your big fat Catholic wedding. So she kept saying like, that dress is almost as beautiful as my dress. So I was like, okay, that's just like I misheard her, but my friend was there and she's like, no, it's just not it. And then next time I come around, she's like, yeah, this is really good, but we had lamb at our wedding. Now, this would be fine if it was like, and the next time I came around, it was sweet. This would be fine if they got married like a year ago. Then, okay, whatever. If you got married like 15 years before then, and I'm like, maybe not 15, but like many. Still, I guess it wouldn't have been 50, yeah.
Still reliving the glory of your wedding? I sympathize. 10
years later. Oh yeah, no, I totally. I
mean,
I didn't even have a great wedding. I had a good time. It was nice. I wore a really pretty dress. I looked good, which is good because I've spent a lot of time trying to look good.
I wore a dress and it was okay, and I brag more about how much I didn't pay for that dress.
Oh yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I think you win though.
Oh no, yeah, okay. So I had a coupon for my wedding dress. That you're gonna find this is a ongoing theme in my life. I had a coupon, ... Now it's a coupon code, but
yeah, no, of course. I love like getting things and being like, I got this for $20. Feel like that's a nice shirt. I'm like $20.
Yeah, I know. It was in the clearance rack.
Oh, nice.
It was totally awesome. No, my dress was in the clearance rack. I can hear so many diehard wedding people just unsubscribing as they go.
That's, you know what, if you want fancy wedding talk, you're probably in the wrong podcast.
It's about to get better. I wore tennis shoes to my wedding.
Oh, nice. I wore dancing shoes, which I love. They were Freeds.
Oh, I don't know what mine were Skechers.
Nice.
They were white with the little faux diamonds in them.
Oh,
and if I had been paying attention, the Skechers, if I had had the time and if I had been paying attention, I would have changed Skechers to Sconnards.
Oh man, that's good.
Sentimental fool.
That's good.
Yeah, that's all I got.
I know. I was like, this is an excuse because I knew I'd be on my feet. I wanted like nice shoes, so like comfortable shoes.
It was going to be comfortable. We wanted to make sure that the following songs were not played and the following songs were played. We weren't allowed to play Armageddon, so I don't want to miss a thing. And we absolutely had to make sure that the safety dance was played.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if the safety dance was played at my wedding, but now I'm just angry. We had a lot of people, like, we kind of let people do what they wanted. Like, somebody offered to DJ at half price. That's a friend of mine.
That's okay. Thank you. All right, that's getting us back on track.
He's like a wedding DJ. So okay, the whole thing with the band. Can I just cover that since we're getting back to my fat Greek wedding, or are we talking about your wedding?
No, you exactly
talk about the DJ.
No, exactly what you're saying, because it's just like the brother. Hey, I know a guy, and he can get this for this discount and all this other stuff. And oh yeah, I talked to this person, the cousin. I know this person at the dry cleaning. She made the earrings for you. Yeah. That's what happens. Is that the second anything happens with your family, they're just like, oh, I know a person who can do this.
They want to fix it. They want to participate.
They want to help and they want to throw their thing, and it's coming from a place of I care about you. But sometimes, and I'm not going to point any fingers at any particular family member because they are okay, never mind. There was ones where some of them are just like, oh, that's really great, thank you, and then there were other ones where it's just like, oh, that's really great, how is this going to benefit you? I really don't want to find out, because it's just like, oh, I know this isn't actually happening, but
it's like a little suspicious.
Yeah, to an extent.
So, was your family upset? You kind of that you didn't have a Catholic wedding?
No, I did have a Catholic wedding.
Oh,
yeah. So here's what's kind of interesting about us. We got married in the church. We had a long day. We got married in the church. We had an early ceremony. It was family, very, very small group of family, and then we had the really, really big one where we got married again in front of the rest of the family. Okay, so at
so it was a smaller ceremony,
which was the sacrament of matrimony in the Catholic Church. My parents, his parents, all of my bridesmaids, all of our groomsmen, and then the immediate family. So like all my nieces and his extended family as well, that weren't in the dresses and or tuxes, that were there. And then we had that, and then that was at 10 in the morning, and then we had a tailgating party in the middle because we knew we would be starving. So seriously, my mom and his mom, they popped open a trunk, and
that's awesome.
My new sister-in-law was right there. She's like, here we go. She bought all of this stuff. There was like bagels and like bags of chips and everything. And my favorite photo from the wedding is a picture of me and him sitting on a bench, and I have a bag of Doritos in my hand. And that's like the only evidence of our tailgating party. So we did that, and then we went to the bigger venue where we had the other ceremony, because the Catholic wedding was a representation of what I wanted to do. So that way I stepped back and said, okay, the non-Catholic wedding, we're of course going to have it be both of us, but I also wanted it to reflect what he wanted it to be.
So you guys, so Ian capitulates.
No, Ryan.
No.
Ian. Yeah, Ian.
So Ian completely capitulates, but actually you guys found a way to have both of your families come kind of, or not only your family, but your whole selves come equally to that party, right?
We
because you got to really have, because it's not, I think, there's no way to have, just doing one Catholic prayer wouldn't have.
That's not a sacrament.
That's not a sacrament.
No.
Now, sorry, was Ryan baptized? So
no.
Could he take the...
Here's what's interesting. The Catholic
Can you
Church,
take the sacrament? Because I always, whenever I go, I always
Did you say take the
it.
Sacrament?
Okay, I don't know.
No, that's cool.
How do you...
The Catholic Church, they've made a few changes. So there is...
Accept the sacrament?
he participated in the sacrament. We received the sacrament.
Yes, sorry.
We received the sacrament. No, it was interesting. So I have a certificate that has our names on it that, you know, we have received the sacrament of matrimony at this church. And
does it involve wafers? Because right?
Oh no, oh wow, I could do a podcast about this. We did not have a mass, which means we did not have a Eucharist. So we got married in the church, but there was no mass.
You didn't do the thing after you get married where you take the mass together?
No, there were readings, there was the sacrament, and then we were dismissed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure it out.
Yeah. So
that's really lovely.
When my sister got
so you
married,
didn't have that whole like you'd have to be baptized in order to.
Well, no, I mean like we
the
could have because my sister got married in the church. My brother-in-law is not Catholic, and they had the full mass.
Oh.
So no,
I did not know you could do that.
Yeah, you can. And my brother got married. He got she was not she was not Catholic. They didn't have a mass. The whole thing is that you have to sit with the priest and you have to, you know, discuss all these things. They gave us quizzes and we sat down. The little thing I'm proud of. I hope Ryan's okay with me sharing this because this is us just bragging. He said that the priest who gave us the quizzes and when we sat down to take it, he said he had never seen somebody score as high on communication as we had. We talk about everything, and there was something in the middle.
So
there was something in the middle of that conversation
cool.
as well. It's just like, well, you know, there is one thing I'm concerned about. It says here that after you get married, you know, you think that you might be able to change one another, and I'd like to speak with that about you two. And he was really concerned about that. And like, Diana, why did you answer that way? I'm just like, because I want him to pick up his socks, and one day I hope that he'll actually start doing it. And then he goes, "Oh, okay." And I'm just like, "No,
it's not real.
No,
it's fine.
No,
it's fine.
I don't think I'm going to convert him to Catholicism. I just don't want the shoes on the floor."
But it's also a problem when you're like trying to change your partner.
Well, I'd like to think that we can change our partner in the positive ways.
The ways that you.
I rub off on him. He rubs off on me. He's not going to be John Corbett, where he's magically like, "I will be baptized. I will learn Greek. I will."
But the thing is, he never does learn Greek. That's what's kind of annoying.
Towards the end, he does talk to the daughter, and he does say,
"Oh, that's true." He says something, okay.
and he goes, "What is that?" So he's knowing.
Oh, that's
he's knowing.
true.
He's learned.
Yeah.
He's picked up a few
Finally,
things.
yes.
I'd like to think now he finally understands the things that his new family has made him say to embarrass himself.
Yes, exactly. At least by process of elimination.
Okay,
He's learned.
So let me see if I remember.
That's not how you say goodbye. That's
So
not how you say. That's also not how you say goodbye.
So he said nice boobs to his future mother-in-law. He told the entire family he has 3 testicles. I think that was it. I think by then he caught on not to do that anymore.
Yeah, that was the second one.
He put up with so much abuse, and again, he took it with such a sense of humor.
Well, it's funny because didn't he say that he had No, he's an only child.
He's an only child. He has 2 cousins. She has 27.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, and did I mention this? I took account of all my cousins.
And
I have 24 first cousins.
Oh,
yeah. So that was pretty fun. And
I have 0.
Yes, we did cover that. That's kind of strange to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we recorded that part, but yeah,
know.
I have 0.
But the point is that big family. You know, when it comes together, my family did have the, you know, do invite this person. I just kind of set this generic thing of just like, aunts and uncles, absolutely. In fact, there is this kind of mental thing going on here. You invite one, you invite them all.
Yeah.
So you invite one,
I kind of get that. Like that part I really get.
Yeah.
Because I think it becomes too complicated and crazy otherwise. So anyway, they have the wedding. So how did you feel when the movie ended and his family, I mean, not that we have to rush all the way to the end, but how did you feel when the movie ended and she's making her daughter now go to Greek school? By the way, does Greek school just happen to happen everywhere at the same time as brownies? I mean, you can do both.
I mean,
right?
I don't know, Polina. I don't live in Chicago, so that's where they have Greek school, right?
Yeah, only in Chicago do they have Greek school.
Number 2, I don't. It doesn't come up. Do I know any Greek people? I mean, Jason Mantzoukas from How Did This Get Made? But that's.
I used to know Greek. I feel like there's just not as many Greeks, or I don't know as. No, I've known Greeks. Let's see, Costas. I worked with a guy. I've worked with a couple.
I don't. Okay, this has gone down a weird.
No, I just
direction.
felt, well, that was the thing, is like I felt like on the East Coast, I knew a lot of families that were Greek.
For the record, I do not know Jason Mantzoukas in real life.
If you did, please introduce us. I love him so much.
Well, I don't think I'm going to share that if I know Jason Mantzoukas in real life.
Well, obviously, you don't want to embarrass me, but introduce us.
Okay.
You wouldn't introduce me?
I'm trying to change the subject right now.
So, yeah, how did you feel?
At the end, when she told her daughter, "You're going to Greek school." If anything, I thought, "Wow, I really wish that I had learned Chamorro when I was growing up."
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we had talked, you know, in a different language growing up, I think that
so
would
you
have been.
didn't.
No, we
So
didn't.
Chamorro is the national language of Guam.
The national language of the Italians.
Or?
No, that is for the Guamanians speak Chamorro.
Oh.
And I will say that after the movie, no, it's just like
I didn't know. I had no idea.
Oh, no,
I
why
didn't
would
know
you? Why
what
would
people.
you?
No, it's well, I don't
Why
know.
would
I
you?
try to seem cosmopolitan.
It would have been very cool to learn it, and watching her, you know, just say, you know, Mom, I don't want to go to Greek school. The Rojek mantra popped into my head. You don't have to wanna. You just go. And no, I mean, I went to. I don't know. I mean, I went to. It's called CCD. You know, Catholicism.
People going to
Catholicism,
CCD.
catechism. That's what it's called. So Catholicism. No, I went to all these different. You don't have to wanna, and then we left. So it was interesting. No, at the end of the movie, it just, you know, I'm watching her. She's like, "Ma, I don't want to go," and that's just what happens. I haven't seen the sequel, so she's you know, like 16 years old, and it's taken it more in depth. So that kind of answers the question of like what happens after that. Honestly, the movie was over. You know, you see them with the little girl, and it's interesting. And this movie is rooted in just a simplistic love story with many big things that we take for granted. So they're gonna fly very well. They're gonna have the regular conflicts of family, but they're going to be perfectly fine. So that's my answer to the question of what's going to happen after the movie's over.
Oh, I didn't know we're getting right there.
You asked me how I felt when the movie was over. I decided to run with it with what I think happens. But after the movie was over, I didn't take the whole, you know, our daughter's going to do what we did. If anything, I thought it was kind of beautiful to maintain that type of thing because that's still maintaining a heritage. And he's still 100% on board. Like, let's go on to Greek school, you know, with the daughter. Because he's
living next door to his parents.
And he's living next door. He's fully embraced.
I mean, not his parents.
He's embraced this big family dynamic, and I think that's really, really nice. And after the movie was over, I made adobo, and I was in a mood, and I decided to do that. And it could be one of those things where yes, your family can drive you crazy, but when you're with them, it feels so good, and you do get transported back to when you were younger, and that could be good, that could be bad. You can fall into bad habits, but there's just so much. One of the things I loved about my family is just this feeling of togetherness and community, and knowing the whole idea of Tula's brother and her.
Yeah, and they kind of inspiring each other.
Inspiring each other.
That was very
they're
sweet.
just so supportive of one another, and just the whole, like, you know, he's gonna say you're so not worth it, and he just her brother looks at her so hardly. No, you are. You know, like, it's like, recognize how amazing you are, and just getting it from not just your spouse,
and especially the way that everybody else, you know, everyone kind of talks in that movie. It was such a special moment because it wasn't the usual way that they had to interact. Like, he didn't make a joke about it. He didn't like go to it. And actually, another great thing in the movie about that is that when at one point the Gus, like, when he finds out she's dating this non-Greek, he keeps going to them, and he keeps inviting all these like completely unsuitable suitors.
Oh, right.
Including some that one guy was downright creepy. Like, he looked kind of
a bunch of them were downright
pimpish.
creepy.
Yeah. So anyway, and the brother would like look at her like,
nope.
Like, I'm so sorry you have to do this, and just like they have this great moment.
There's
So,
a lot of there's a lot of sympathy that I really latched onto because of the siblings.
Because they're both,
even though they have to experience it differently, it's still we're the only two people where these are our parents, and we're the only ones who live this experience. And I have that with my siblings.
But and also that's really cool.
Our parents, we're the only ones who these are our parents, so we're the only ones. Even though we experienced it differently, there are things that only we can understand.
Yeah. That is nice. That's like one thing about having a sibling that would have been really nice.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not bragging. I just
No. I also enjoyed being an only child, but I'm saying that is an experience that you don't have.
I also have the benefit of I had both brothers and a sister,
Yeah.
so I got to experience both.
And you're close to them. It's funny though, because like, did you watching it the second time? The one thing about her which confused me is I found it really strange because everyone professes to love each other, right? They're like in each other's business, and they don't notice that she like is so chronically, horribly depressed, and they never explain why she does. Like she literally like she's 30. Like if she were 20, this story would make more sense to me.
Okay.
Because she like more emotional sense.
Okay.
Because the part about the family I get, but she doesn't really, until he comes along and until the end, she doesn't really show a lot of like, she seems to show a lot of like, well, I have to live here, but not a lot of like love.
Okay. Like from her family?
For her family. But then also like she just seems like always unhappy with them, which may be the thing that she said, like seeing them through his eyes. That's how I'll take it, is like seeing them through his eyes made her realize like what a gift she has, because she always took it for granted. Yes. And he has this cold fish of a family and all that. But just, I mean, watching it again, I was like, because I was trying to figure out what I didn't like about this movie, because this movie has, I was mentioning earlier, like it has a lot of things like movies I like are like Monsoon Wedding. I was mentioning like this gets mentioned in reviews a lot with Monsoon Wedding.
Okay.
And I was like, why is Monsoon Wedding more successful? Like emotion. Why do I like it more?
Oh, okay.
But I felt like it was really strange. Like they never explained why she just did nothing for this whole time. Like she's just so deeply, deeply unhappy. She's not just like, oh my God. And she doesn't even seem that crucial to the family business, right? She's not even a waitress. She talks about being a hostess. Like, and so I don't understand why they weren't like, wow, we can run this without you. Because you don't even see her doing, she's not bookkeeping. She's not,
she's a body there.
She's just a body there. And it could be like any of it's a huge family. She's not an only child who's like, family has this restaurant and there's nobody else who could possibly do it. And they can't survive. They were like a family with like a bunch of thriving businesses.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really make like that. And the fact that none of them ever talk about the fact that she's like, everyone else is super made up and like makes an effort, and she is like literally going out of her way to be like, she's kind of screaming. Like there was the thing, I think the first time I watched it I was like, oh okay, but the second time I'm like, this is so weird. Like there's something really sad about it. Like,
well, okay.
I had a hard time with her like making, and then when she sees him and she kind of makes this transition, she gets to like really, she's really live a life, but she's always so unhappy about her family, but she's like working still constantly in the family. I'm like, I don't understand. I understand that basically they made each other braver, or he made, and he was saying, life like falls, like basically like he says, you make me feel like, my life was boring, and then I met you, and you're really interesting and really fun. But like, I also didn't get. I mean, I love the character, like her as an actress, is super interesting. Okay. Like, she just is one of those people who's really interesting.
Oh, good.
Like, just you had that like, oh, I just want to hang out with this person feeling. Like, even though I didn't, maybe not I don't know.
Well,
I want to like question her as an actress, but
in the broadest sense,
Mm-hmm.
it's she graduated from high school. She went to go work for the family business,
Mm-hmm.
and the idea is you get married, you have children, but because she didn't do that, she just kind of stalled out.
Yeah,
So-
but it's like, wouldn't they at one point be like, wow, or just like, I'm that unhappy for so long. Like,
Well-
this isn't like a year.
Well, it's only just she's not married, so. And I believe that there also is this whole thing of, well, once she's married, then it'll be okay.
That's true. They do talk
And
about
that probably is something that clicked you the wrong way too. It's just that once she gets married, everything will be okay. And fortunately, she brightened. You know, I don't know. You say depression. That she kind of.
Well, I mean, just she
flowered.
was literally walking like slow steps.
Mm-hmm.
She's not. She just like she's like
She was from
she's
girl.
sitting there. Yeah, she's like sitting there, kind of, you know, wearing like old. You know, she just like it's not even. It's her entire demeanor. I mean, they dressed her this way. They gave her lanky hair, like the way she walked.
I'm gonna go with artistic license of trying to over dramatize the transition
All right.
to make a point.
Okay. But like, did that grab you? Like, did you have that sense of like, did you have that reaction when you saw it again?
Makeover scene.
The makeover scene is really.
If anything, I was thinking like, wow, they really smashed it on bright in that. Yeah, she's frumpy.
Yeah.
The big bulky sweaters.
That's the thing, yeah, and
It
it
was
was like
3 layers of sweaters. I know Chicago, but it was just
also like seriously, because the opening scene, they're just driving through the rain.
okay, fine. I maybe identified a little bit too much with it. I also don't wear makeup. I also don't do much with my hair. If the weather is just wrong, I will frizz
well,
like crazy. So maybe I felt it just a little too hard.
It was just, yeah, but you don't you wear like one sweater at a time or none. I mean, you're always wearing something on top. I just want to be clear.
I do. I have 4 outfits total.
There you go.
Yeah.
But they're all good. So who cares?
Well, thanks, I guess.
Okay. Well, okay. So when do you think they fell in love?
Well, it was definitely during the dating montage.
You think so?
I was just, it was there, and because I was so focused on the family dynamics, I wasn't paying attention. But they were dating. They continued to date. Bam! I love you. I want to say it was somewhere in between dates, and I think it's when after they had been dating, after they had been discovered, right before the big confrontation between Ian and her father. It was beforehand because the mother even said, cut this off, and she responds with, I love him. So clearly it happened before then. So I'm going to say it was during the dating montage when they were making out in the car a lot.
I think
Not
it
during
was
the makeouts,
no.
but
Well, it seems a good time to fall in love as any.
yeah. So before they were making out in the office, but I don't know. I give it I have to give it like a time frame, not like a point in the movie. I can't even tell. So 4 months in.
I think it was a love at first sight thing.
You do sure.
Okay, so and which is like I'm so surprising.
Which site?
Well, she definitely fell in love with him, obviously, when he walked in. The first time he walks in while she's still frump girl, and she freaks out so much that she hides like a 14-year-old. Like she hides. Like that horrible thing when you have a crush on somebody from 14-year-old and your first instinct is to hide. And she tries to hide in the worst way possible because he goes to pay the check. She just tries to kneel down behind the cash register, which of course you can see behind. And she doesn't really kneel down far enough. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. This makes no sense. And then I remembered running into an ex-boyfriend who ghosted me months, and who I was obsessed with what I was going to say when I saw him. I just ran it over in my head
Wow, she had fight or flight when she saw him, and she fled.
Yeah.
Although interesting.
But I ran, but I remember I was going across the street. We were all hanging out at this bar on a kind of just a Sunday afternoon. Like we'd all had a day out, and then we decided to buy. This is when you did this, and Sean and I think had just started dating, or we're just about to. So it had been a little while, and I saw him, and I went across the street to buy a bunch of papers. We're all gonna just like sit and read the paper and have our dinner, and the Sunday papers. And he walked out of a neighboring bar, and I froze, then turned and ran around the block.
Wow.
And ran back into the bar. And like I was
Wow.
like panting, and I was like, I just saw him.
I'm sorry.
And everybody was like, oh my God, what'd you do? And I'm like, I ran. And they're like, oh God, you're so sad. But anyway.
And that's when you fell in love with him?
That's when I fell in love with him.
Oh, okay.
No, but anyway, so first I thought it was ridiculous, and now I realize I do that. I did that.
It's
I
real.
had that. It's real.
It's a real
real.
thing.
I'll take that. So I think that she fell in love with him. Okay.
No, I want you to finish that sentence, then I will talk.
Okay. So I think that's when she fell in love with him, but I think I think that she probably thought, she saw him one time. So it's probably at least a year later, because she's taken her computers and travel like class.
Yeah.
And he walks by and he sees her and he just falls in love with her. He walks by and just sees her in the window, and first she hides. And then when she comes back, he kind of turns around and, like a day later or something, he comes back and waves, and finally they like do that smiley, like giddy, ridiculous thing.
That felt very reminiscent, the giddy, ridiculous thing.
They were so giddy and ridiculous. So to me, it's like so obvious it's the first time.
You
it's
thought
like,
it was love at first sight.
totally love at first sight. I don't think it works any other way. I just don't think it works any other way, because this is literally the only first time she ever even says anything to her father. Like, her father says the thing about the marriage thing. She says nothing. She only talks about the college courses she tries once. Once. Her brother tries, it seems like every week, to get him to recognize how good of an artist he is. So it would have had to be pretty intense for her to, that there's no other way. There's no other desire. And also, she would have had to love him a lot, because he does nothing but insult her, Greekness, at least twice. Once during the date, and the first time, because he makes fun of her name, basically.
Does he? Oh, okay.
I think he kind of does it in that, I don't know. I think he's making fun of it a little bit.
I respectfully disagree.
Okay.
I'm going to go with
You
the
can
fact.
not so respectfully disagree.
F
if
you,
you'd like.
Polina. Here's my opinion, and it's correct, and yours is wrong. This is what I believe. His thing, because they run with this with the whole mothers meeting. It's a bunt cake, and there's this whole language barrier, quote unquote, even though it's not really a language barrier. It's a bunt cake. I'm like, okay, I'm not even sure where you're, that, but it's played for laughs. I think we're not getting it from the opposite way. I think it's there. She's saying these words. My last name, Portocalos. It is Portocalos, right?
I think so.
Okay, so Portocalos, and he's like, Portocababa. And I think it's playing the whole, it's not just non-white people who have a hard time pronouncing common things. It's also, once you throw certain things that you don't hear very often, he's not good at it as well.
Yeah.
So it's just like, no, it's not that he's making fun of her. It's just like he's hearing these beats and he's going for it. But he has a little bit more confidence in going for it. So it just came out badly.
No, because he said it in a weird way that was because portcullis is actually not that hard to say.
Well,
portcullis. You just break it down.
I thought it was portocalos.
Okay, but you would have gotten it closer.
Point Diana.
All right. I concede you a point.
The difference,
however,
the difference being he is the one, he has more confidence, so he'll go for it and he'll mess it up and
But he messed it up in as I recall, and kind of not in a is it portcullis? It's he messed it up in a way that I don't really remember, was kind of it was making fun of her, It's basically like the same thing the kids do to the moussaka,
I'm going to...
which is they call it moussaka.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, moussaka's delicious no matter how you pronounce it.
No, it doesn't matter. You hear something that sounds like
I mean,
poop,
I'm
you're
still
gonna
mad
laugh
because,
at
of
it.
course, the vacation movies came out and around the time that I was younger, and vaguely, and everyone called us the Griswolds.
That's right.
For years, and then every time people would forget, a new one would come out, and we're like, we're not the Griswolds, we're the Grunwalds. And Sean said that to me once, and I haven't. I wanted to punch him like really, really bad. Yeah, we're no longer together. We're just here for the rent. Yeah. San Francisco.
Yeah, well, so I honestly believe that that's just more, we're kind of putting this guy up on a pedestal. Like, no, he's not that brilliant. He just happens to be the guy that comes in and shows her all this other stuff, but he can't pronounce things. But you know what?
He doesn't have to insult her name.
He insults her. I think the parents, again, coming from a place of ignorance, their whole like, oh, does that mean something in your language?
Yeah. I mean, I get that. It was like culturally insensitive. But I mean, he was like, I wish I could find what he
You don't think he was just being culturally insensitive? But
I think
you said he insulted her.
Well, because he said, and I wish I could remember, but he said her name in a way. Does anyone remember how he said her name?
Tula.
No, not her first name.
Portacaba.
Something like, or just Portacaca or something like that.
No, I didn't hear Portacaca.
I don't know. He said it in a way. I watched it twice, and I remember. I even rewinded it, but of course my memory is this bad. I'm not sure why.
How much of an anxious person are you, Polina?
Oh God, never.
Anxiety. So as such, we are so sensitive to other people's. We will say things that will make sure that we are paying attention to how their names are pronounced. We will pay attention.
I'm terrible. I was always asking you what like everyone's name is.
See, you are self-conscious about that kind of thing. I'm going to call it oh my God.
Never insult somebody's ethnic last name.
His parents are introverts. He sucks at language, but I think he's an English teacher, so he's got that down.
I think you got to play that one real careful. I think this is the first time that this is the first conversation he had. Like spend some time, be like, okay, wait, okay, port. Mm-hmm. Oh, mm-hmm. Just the last thing you want to do is make fun of it. The other thing is they're out at a nice restaurant, like a French restaurant, mm-hmm. and he says, do you want to go for some Greek food?
That's the nerves talking.
I'm like, no, you're already eating. Like, no, you don't.
Oh, like at that moment?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think that's. I thought he was just throwing out the whole. Do you want to go out again and get some Greek food?
No, maybe. Okay, whatever. You're right. I am oversensitive. Regardless, I think he fell in love at first sight, and to me, it makes no sense. The whole movie makes no sense either way, because if you don't have that, my life has changed. Like, she's had a lot of other reasons to change her life, mm-hmm. right? Like, she just has.
Well, okay. So
so it has to be something really visceral and sudden, and not just like, I have found myself in love.
I am going to say that I'm going to retract what happened. No, I'm going to maintain it. So they're on the bridge and he's doing the whole, so you got a crazy family. The fact that he wants to know so much about her.
Yeah.
I actually had a problem with the end of the scene. He's just like, you are this and you got a crazy family, but you're beautiful and you're interesting and I just want to spend some time with you. Mm-hmm. And I had a problem with the fact that, you think I'm beautiful?
I know.
Are you listening to the words he's saying right now?
He
wants to get to know you.
Yeah.
So go with that.
Yeah.
And that after that.
But also, I mean, you got to remember, like, the family, no one's ever called her beautiful. That's the first time someone's called her beautiful.
Yeah, but I would have focused on the whole, like, wait, you want to spend time with me?
I know
every insecurity that came out of her mouth, I hate it because
you're like, I know that.
No, I hate it because that is a bad example to set. But at the same time, I have lived it, so I appreciate it. Just like, how dare you articulate that? You keep that close. You keep that inside.
But that's what catharsis is. That's why we watch movies.
I have a bad.
That's why we watch movies.
Ryan and I argue about catharsis, and
of course you do.
I think it mainly has to do with the fact that I don't understand it, and it's Catharthus, right? Cthulhu. Anyways, I don't want any part of it. So I think they fell in love.
It's so funny because you always pick the ones with the most like.
Yes.
Sorry.
And I don't know any better. So here is, I think it's after the bridge scene, but before the confrontation scene. That's when they fell in love. I'm going to ignore the fact that there's a sequel, but the little thing at the end, they have a daughter together. Again, this is, I said it already. It's rooted in reality. The grand gestures are the grand gestures you would believe in real life that we take for granted.
They're not the ones that you're like, wow, that would be a stalker if I'm glad she likes him so much.
I'm gonna run to the airport and catch the last plane to Paris.
Yeah.
Gesture. I don't know. I can't even think of a good cliche.
Well, she's a really good packer. She was a really good packer in that movie. Remember? I was really into her packing skills.
Oh, different movie. Yes. So that's when they fell in love. They're good. They're going the distance.
You think like all the way? Like this is not. It's like it's not gonna be like when empty nest syndrome hits. They're not gonna like go their separate.
I think they're gonna have their struggles, but it's not gonna be as smooth sailing as before. I didn't see the sequel, so I feel like I'm
remember.
Cheating. Oh
they're doing the same thing.
Well,
I didn't see the sequel. I probably won't.
Oh, I watched the trailer for the sequel. It is like beat for beat, like the same jokes and everything.
Ugh.
But here's what I'm thinking is going to happen. The daughter's going to have even bigger angst about being Greek versus not being Greek. But she's younger, so it's like I'm the angry teenager, so I'm going to rebel about it just a little bit longer. I think that she's going to want some grandbabies, but she's also going to understand that not now because you're 16 or you're a teenager, so not now. So I do want you to go and see the world, but can you go see the world like while you're around with us, because I still want to maintain the family thing.
Yeah.
I feel it so much. I want the family thing. Like Ryan and me right now, I miss the big family stuff, but right now I am so happy with how quiet our house is. And I appreciate that. So I am experiencing both at the same time. I have the angst for wanting to be around people, but I also love that I can close the door and be by myself if I want to.
Well, if that's what they want, then she's going to get the perfect situation because she's got the crazy family next door, but they do not wall share. So it's like she's got the perfect thing where anytime she's like she can waltz right in, and then hopefully, like, it seems not like they just come over. Like, she seems like she's kind of maintained, like, they make it seem like she's maintained some distance. There's like a big hedge between the. I think that's what they're trying to say. I know that didn't seem weird,
but she managed to live with them until her 30s, so I think she's able to, like, a wall or a hedge is a blessing.
That's true.
Yeah,
I think that they. Yeah, I think they. Clearly 6 years in, they're good. I think that what I hope she does for her daughter is just at least encourage her, maybe not to get away, but to take her own life choices seriously and not just do what the mom says. And of course she wants her there and she wants to be a part of the big family, and I'm sure, like, the cousins all play together or whatever it is cousins do. I've only seen it through movies. That's my catharsis. No, it's fine. Sean's family is much larger and it's really fun. They have welcomed me with open arms, which I really appreciate. So thank you, Missy, though I'm sure you don't really know how to, like, listen to a podcast. So I think, I'm gonna. They're solid. At some point, he is gonna grow a backbone because he's gonna get sick of it.
I don't think a backbone is necessary considering all the hoops he had to jump through. What things could they possibly bring up now that he needs a backbone?
I bet he's just gonna want time alone. I think that's gonna be their contention. Is he's gonna be like, no, I want to have a vacation. I want to start having Sunday dinner alone. I
think he likes the big family dynamic.
I think he does, but I think he's going to, when he gets older, because I think he's going to get irritated.
There'll be a point. No, there will be frustration, and it's the same thing that Tula had anyways. And and you want to know why it's not going to be a problem?
Why?
Is that because she's going to want it too, and they're going to band together.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it is easier, like, I will say, like, that is something that I think I do a little bit more, is I kind of make, it's like when we're traveling, my parents and Sean travel together, I'm like, he's the tired one. Like, because that would never be acceptable. So I'm like, I kind of use him as like the, you know what I mean? Like, because you wouldn't get treated if you're tired. You wouldn't be like, okay, we're going to sit down.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about him. So you can kind of use him. So I get like why that's probably a blessing that she can be like, well, you know how Ian is. Doesn't, he just needs his quiet time. And everyone's like, oh yeah, that Ian, whereas they would never accept that from her.
Huh. Oh, okay.
That's very useful. I do it all the time.
Everything I heard was throw under the bus. That's all I heard.
No, it's something like that. It's like a more subtle. You're kind of more throwing them under, like, maybe not a bus, but like a Honda Fit. Smaller, lighter, more like a Mini. Like a Mini Cooper.
It's still
or a smart car.
It's still painful.
Yeah, it's less painful.
But I think that Ian wanting to go, and him, I think it's going to be like when the son threw down the drawings, Oh, Ian has to leave.
Yeah.
That's going to be how they react.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a big deal. So, but overall, I really enjoyed revisiting it.
Oh, nice.
It was helpful. I'm sorry you didn't care for it as much, but the catharsis was real.
Cthulhu was real.
Catharsis. So thanks for hanging in with us. Really appreciate this 2-parter extravaganza of my life story. You now have the ability to probably figure out all my passwords now because I've given you so many deep-rooted love stories. Ryan 732 ! Exclamation point. Emoji heart.
Yeah, I think this was all my fault because I just felt like things were so juicy. I just couldn't really leave. I can't believe I just used that word. Things were so, there was just too much. There was too much to just wrap up. I had way too much sugar to put it down. So thank you. Thanks for letting me goju into it. Mm-hmm. So goodbye. Thank you. Until next time.
Hey, Pauline and I would love to hear from you. Tweet us at HEAMCast or email us at contact@heamcast.com. Thanks for listening.